Hey, Shalom, Bmore. We the Israelite School and Universal Practical Knowledge coming straight out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth out since 1969 that blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are the true biblical Jews of the Bible, man.
Right.
You understand? And we are not affiliated. Let me repeat this. We are not affiliated with no other fake Israelite camp groups, no Christian churches, no Muslim mosques. We are not affiliated with any of those organizations, you understand? We stand alone in this war.
Right.
And we've been teaching the truth of this Bible, like I said, since 1969, that, you know, the people in the earth that no one wants, the people in the earth that the earth, you know, chews up and spits out, blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
Right.
We are the biblical Jews of the Bible, man. And the so-called oppressor, the so-called white man, he is the devil that the Bible speaks of, you understand?
Right.
Like, we've been teaching it since 1969, which is heavy, because in today's climate, we've been taught that, you know, through the Christian church, you know, Satan is our enemy, Satan this, that, and the third, but nobody can put a face to that. That's why we keep being abused, man. We keep getting destroyed. We keep getting hurt. You understand? But the Lord puts a face to that, man.
Right.
Devil in the Bible means deceiver. There's been a deceiver on the face of this earth that's been lying to the masses and deceiving the earth into thinking that they're the true children of God, man.
Right.
Which they're not. You understand? We're gonna get into today, man, how this oppressor of ours, you understand, this so-called this devil, not so-called, this devil that the Bible speaks of, he's had a perpetual hatred for blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, man, since his inception. You understand? And we're going to bring this out in the Bible because the Lord has prepared us. The Lord has prepared us to understand and to see who our enemy is and how he seeks to destroy us. You understand? But we don't learn that in the Christian church. We don't learn that in the Muslim mosque because those organizations are headed by the same people that's destroying us. You understand? So if I could, let me get Deuteronomy 28 and 68, Baba Kasha.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
We're saying the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. You understand? Egypt is one of those is one of those Latin words that mean bondage. You understand? It means bondage. Like what we know as Egypt today in the biblical context, it was considered Mizraim. You understand? Mizraim, that was what we consider Egypt now. Egypt is called Egypt now because we, the Israelites of the Bible, we were enslaved there. You understand? So right now in Egypt, when you hear the term Egypt, that means bondage. Read that from the top, Baba Kishar.
Top. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
It's saying the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now we just defined Egypt in meaning bondage. So if we read it again, it's saying the Lord shall bring thee into bondage again with ships. You understand? Like what we're reading right here is the transatlantic slave trade right here. You understand? It's saying bringing us into bondage again with ships because we were in bondage in Mizraim, or what we consider Egypt today.
Right. And
people always say, oh, you know, everybody, you know, this nation of people has been enslaved, yada, yada. It's a with ships. Right. It's well documented that, you know, from the shores of West Africa, you know, that's where the slave trade occurred. And that's actually where we fled into during 70 AD when we were fleeing persecution from Jerusalem, from the Romans in Jerusalem. You understand? So they say we're going to be brought into Egypt again with ships. Keep on.
By the way whereof I've spake unto thee.
They say by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Keep on.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
Like the Lord is saying, like right here where I'm telling you this at, thou shalt not see it no more again. Meaning, like you're not going to rule this land. You understand? Like Israel, Jerusalem is our homeland. You understand?
Right.
The Lord is saying, right here where I'm telling you this, you shall see it. You should not see it again. Like you're not going to own this land. You understand? Which tells you that the people that's over there right now are not the true biblical Jews of the Bible.
Right.
Like we're reading the verse right here that's cutting them, and pretty much the Lord is letting you know that the people that's in Israel that's claiming to be the Jews right now are not the biblical Jews of the Bible, man. He just said that whereof I speak unto thee, thou shalt not see it no more again. Now, is that saying that we can't get on a plane and fly over to Israel or to the Middle East? No, but we do not own and rule that land.
Right.
Like our culture is not set up in that land. You understand? Like we're still in slavery. We're still serving out a punishment for the crimes we've committed against the Lord. You understand? Keep going, Baba Kashaw. Listen to this next part carefully.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemy.
Unto your what?
Unto your enemy.
Unto your friends.
Unto your enemy.
Unto your equals.
Unto your enemies.
Listen, saying there you shall be sold unto your enemies. You understand? Like the people who brought us from the western shores of Africa. The Lord is saying these are your enemies, man. The Lord said these are your enemies. Keep going.
For bondmen and bondwomen.
That means slavery.
Right.
You understand? That means we were brought for slavery. You understand? You understand? Like this is so important to understand because throughout the years, because of the so-called Civil Rights Act and all that, we think that we're supposed to be equal to our oppressor. You understand? God is not interested in equality.
Right.
God is interested in supremacy. You understand? We are not supposed to be equal to our enemies, man. If that's the case, how can we ever change the course of direction? You have to be above in order to change the course of direction.
Right.
We are not to be equal to our enemies or these other nations out here, man.
Right.
Keep going.
And no man shall buy you.
It said no man shall buy you. Now when you hear that, like people think, oh, we were brought. You know, they used to stand on the auction and block 45, 55, 55, you know, and all that nonsense, you understand? Right. That's not what this is talking about. This is saying no man shall buy you, meaning no man is going to save you. No man is going to redeem you. You understand? Like, that's what this is talking about. Like, we were sold into slavery, and you'll have Hamite nations right now, or you'll have individual Hamites that they know that we're not the same people, but when they want to use black men and black women, they try to make it seem like we're family. But guess what? None of those African nations came over to redeem us.
Right.
They'll say we didn't know it was going to be like that. We didn't understand what we were doing. Yes, you did. Mm-hmm. Because if you didn't, you damn sure seen what was going on to our people over here. You would have sent an army. Like them Hamite nations had armies over there. You understand? They could have came and fought if we were the same people. Right. But they understand something that we don't. We're not Ham. We're not African. Right. We are the Israelites of the Bible, man. Right. And the Lord is saying right here, no man shall buy you. No man shall redeem you. You know why? The Lord is the one who put us into this punishment. And guess what? The Lord is the only one that can take us out of it, man. But it's something like we have to understand what's going on in the earth right here. We have a real enemy out here, man. And it's not your brother. You know, to our sisters, like that other woman is not your enemy. You understand? That other woman that second rib that your husband has, you understand? She's not your enemy. You understand? Like, we have a real enemy out here, man. The Lord just told us who it was. The same person that brought us, you know what I mean, in slavery and brought us over here on ships, man. That's our real enemy, man. And guess what? He's had a perpetual hatred against us, man. Right. Meaning everlasting hatred against us. We think by being cool and cordial with him that he's going to change his mind and he's going to do things a certain way now. Like, we just had proof of that, didn't we? Like, we just had, like, the whole earth just had proof of that. They let them Ishmaelites in, them Arabs. They let them in, man. They didn't get checked for COVID. Half of them was probably terrorists, known terrorists too. You understand? No ties to America in no way, outside of being what they consider radical. And they let them in, put them up, go set them up with businesses, man, and pretty much lay out the royal carpet for them. You understand?
Yep.
And they came over here on their own. Like, they actually have a home that they can go to. You understand? They just came over here.
Right.
Hey, I want to be in America. Go ahead.
So like they put them up in Airbnbs.
They put them up in Airbnbs. Ain't that something?
And they are expensive.
And guess what? What they did was they actually called the homeowners of the Airbnbs and said, listen, we trying to set these people up, you understand? Like, we want to cut a deal with y'all. This is what they did towards their enemy. Like, America was just at war with them.
Right.
And this is how they treat their enemy. But our Haitian brothers, our Haitian sisters, you understand? Our Haitian children escaping a natural disaster, you understand?
Right.
Get treated like common dogs, man. Why is that? It's because America and the so-called white man has had a perpetual hatred towards our people, man.
Right.
A perpetual hatred, and it was on full display for the entire earth just recently. You understand?
Right.
I mean, before we go any further, man, like I said, I want to give it up to those brothers down in Houston, man, for standing so strong and standing so tall, man, and pretty much, and showing this earth, man, under the leadership of Commander General Yohana, you feel me, and the Isupk, like, this is the spirit of the Lord, man. The spirit of the Lord is for us to go out there and take care of our people. You understand? Like, like this oppressor, we've been beguiled into thinking that he's going to do what's right for us. He's going to be a humanitarian. You understand? He's going to be what you consider a good person. Like, we actually believe that. When all the proof, man, shows that he's been nothing but a terrorist to us. He's been nothing but a murderer, a rapist, you understand, a criminal, a thief. He's been all of those things to the 12 tribes of Israel, man. I mean, the Lord just told us who our enemy is, man. If I could, let me get Psalms 83 and 4. Yeah, man, we're going to get some more in the scripture, man. Because the Lord, our so-called leaders, and I'm talking about the black pastors and the black politicians, they tell us that we should forgive them and we should forget. And we've made so many leaps and bounds in the last century and all this nonsense, you understand? But the thing is, like, not only are we in the worst position that we were in when things were segregated, like, this so-called oppressor has gotten crafty, man.
Right.
He's gotten crafty. Like, he's good at what he do. And because we don't recognize him as our enemy, you feel me, we fall for every trap that he lay in front of us, man. You got that?
Come.
Go ahead, Bubba Kashar.
Psalms chapter 83 verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Listen, this is what they say. Like, when we say, and they say they have said, this is talking about these other nations, you understand? Like, this oppressor that we're under, the so-called white man, him being the chief, him being the leader of these other nations that seek to cut us off, man. Keep going. He say, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. They want to cut us off from being a nation. Like, you know why? Like, they don't want, here in America, a black man can call himself an African American, a Afro American. He can call himself a Negro. We can call ourselves, the N word, the B word. Call our sisters the B word. We can say all those things and use those things towards each other. And guess what? The earth is fine with it. No one cares about that. That's cool. But as soon as a black man says, you know what? I am an Israelite from the 12 lost tribes of Israel. That's when the earth has a problem, man.
Right.
Like, what's the proof of that? Nick Cannon had to apologize for knowing who he was, man. Now, Nick Cannon can call himself a Negro. He can call himself anything under the sun. But you better not call yourself Israel. You understand? You better not call yourself a real Jew.
Right.
Like, the scripture is telling us this. They have said, "Come and let us cut them off from being a nation." Keep going.
That the name
you understand? That the name of Israel, you understand? Keep going.
May be no more in remembrance.
Like they don't even want us to know that we're our true nationality, you understand?
Right.
Like they would prefer us call ourselves African Americans instead of Israelites.
Right.
Like the fact that we call ourselves Israelites and we take claim to this Bible, man, we take claim to our culture and our heritage, it angers them, you understand?
Right.
Like it angers them on another level that they actually get together with other nations that's their enemies. Right. And they still plot to destroy us, man.
Right.
Good.
And that's so heavy what you bringing out, because even though, you know, we name ourselves Israelites, they still can't even attach their name to the word Israelite. They gotta call themselves Israelis.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's, you know what I mean? That's super heavy right there. You know what I'm saying?
Like, they call themselves Israelis, you understand? Just like they call themselves Jewish.
Right, Jewish.
Something likened them too, you understand? But not the real thing.
Right.
You understand? Like this is what they're doing, man. Like imagine you having an enemy and you going to war with them and you're killing them and they're killing you. And you got a people over here that has done nothing to you. But you know who they are according to the scriptures. That same enemy that's been killing your people, you killing his people, y'all will form an alliance to go over here and destroy this man that has nothing to do with nothing y'all got going on.
Right.
Like the Lord is telling us, man, like, read that from the top, Baba Kasha. Verse 4.
Psalms 83, verse 4. They have said, "Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance."
Keep going.
For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
They say, for they have consulted together with one consent. You understand? Like, that means they came to the round table, you understand? They had a discussion. And they say, listen, this is what we're going to do to these people, man, that we can cut them off. Like, we don't even want them knowing who they are according to these scriptures. We don't even want them knowing the power that they have once they turn back to the God of the universe.
Right.
Like, they've actually come together and sat down, man, and taken crafty counsel and consulted together. I mean, all of them agreed.
Right.
Like, do we think it's a coincidence that these heathen nations, they come and they think they better than us?
Right.
That they all got stores in our community, that they all got businesses in our community. They don't give nothing back to our community or our culture. Right. They steal and rape us for everything, you understand? Like, do we think it's a coincidence that this thing happened?
Dang.
It's not. It's for they have consulted together with one consent. They've all signed off on this, you understand?
Right.
They are confederate against thee. I mean, they even formed an alliance against us, man. Keep going.
Verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacle, the house of Edom, you understand? You know, this is the so-called white man.
Right.
In the scriptures. He's the chief one.
Right.
Keep going.
And the Ishmaelites of Moab. And the Israelites
of Moab, yeah.
Of Moab.
These Ishmaelites, how many times have you heard that? You know, these are the Arabs, by the way, for those that don't know.
Right.
The Ishmaelites are the Arabs that you would see today. Like the Arabs, they have stores all out our community, you understand? And we think that they're more, like, in our ignorance, we think that they're cool because they'll blow themselves up and fight against this country.
Right.
Not knowing that them same Arabs, they're in that confederacy with the so-called white man.
Right.
Like they have representation at the same table that's seeking to destroy us. You understand?
Right.
Good.
I mean, you can tell because those herbs came on that airplane. He packed them up. They did the most largest evacuation. You know what I'm saying? They brought a lot of them over here, and then they set them up. They probably in stores now and all that.
And guess what? They're going to be in the city, in a city next to you, real quick. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of chicken spots opening up in the hood.
Nice.
You see what I'm saying? There's going to be a lot of fake jewelry stores opening up in the hood. You understand? Like they getting set up with businesses, man. That's because they're in the same confederacy with the so-called white man. What's the other one? What's the last one they said?
And the Hagarine.
The who?
The Hagarine.
Listen, you know what that is, right? No, matter of fact, keep going. 3:7.
Verse 7. Gabal and Ammon.
Hagarines and Gabal. These are what you consider Hamite nations. You understand? And Ammon being the Japanese. You understand?
Yep.
Like we talking about the so-called white man. We talking about the Arab. We talking about the Africans. We talking about the Japanese. And Amalek being the so-called the Jewish man.
Right.
You understand? Like they all have representation. Keep going real quick. Finish that one, Baba Bashar.
The Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Yeah, these are Hamite nations, man. We have to understand that they have all sat down, man. They all have representation at these tables, man. And at the conversation that's being had is how they can destroy us, man. How they can make the name of Israel of no remembrance. Like we be thinking that gentrification is something good.
Right.
We be thinking that, them building different stores in our community is good. You understand? Not knowing that they're only building these stores, they're only gentrifying the area to destroy us. They're not worried about their people having a nice place to shop or a nice place to go and have fun. They don't care about none of that. You understand?
Right.
The primary reason, like that's what you call an accessory or add-on. That's an additional benefit of it. But the primary reason for it is they want to destroy the nation of Israel. Because what happens? They come into our neighborhoods, they gentrify it, they put these Starbucks and what's another one? Harris Teeter. Like I've never even heard of a Harris Teeter. You feel me? Like a brother mentioned it. I'm like, what was that? You see what I'm saying? Like, what's another one? Wegmans and.
Oh yeah, Wegmans.
They got all these different markets, and they put them in the hood. They started to put them in the hood now. You see what I'm saying? Like, and we think, they building this area up. You feel me? This area is going to be very profitable. No, they building this area up to destroy us, man.
Right.
You understand? To kick us out and put us in poverty. You understand?
God.
Like this is what they're doing, man. That's their sole reason for doing it. You understand? They are confederate against us, man.
Right.
And that's what we have to understand. Let me get Lamentations 4:18, brother, for sure.
Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 18. They hunt our...
Matter of fact, start in verse 17, brother, for sure.
Come. Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 17, verse 16. 17, Slack. As for us, our eyes has yet failed for our vain help.
It says, for us, our eyes has yet failed for our vain help. You understand? Like the vain help meaning, like the help that we're looking for, we think we're going to receive, it's empty, man. It's nothing. We think we're getting help, but we're not.
Right.
They do a stimulus check, and we think that we blessed. You understand?
Right.
And we getting a crumb from his table, man.
Right.
Keep going.
In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
It is. It say, in our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. You understand? Like if you look at how they employ blacks, Hispanics, and natives to go out here and vote for change and vote or die. You understand? Like, we voting with the intention that this same nation that's put us in this condition is going to be the same nation that destroys us. That saves us. Like, we think by the judicial system or by the way that their system is constructed,
right,
that if we just participate and we be a part of it, we can make change. Ain't that what they always say?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We can make change. We got to get out here and vote, man. And then how many, like, Joe Biden, like, damn near every black person in the United States voted for Joe Biden outside of the UPK. You feel me? Because we don't vote.
Right.
And what has changed? Like, real talk. Like, what's changed? Like, in our communities, what have we seen change, man? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. You understand? Like, we still are not getting businesses. We still can't go down and get the same loan that these Arabs are about to get to open their shops up.
Right.
We can't go and get a loan the same way that so-called Asian is going to get his loan, and he don't speak a lick of English, ain't got a COVID test, and Lord knows what kind of diseases and bugs they bringing over here from that country. You understand? Like we don't get nowhere close to what they get. You understand? And it's because we're looking at a nation that destroys us, but we're looking at that same nation for help, man. Keep going. Verse 18, Brother Bashir.
Salaki. They hunt our steps.
They hunt our steps, man. Like the words of this is so heavy. Like it's one thing just to read this, but like to break it down, you understand? Like, to hunt something, that means you have to stalk it. That means you have to actually figure out its attributes. You have to figure out, what it likes, what it doesn't like. You actually have to set traps for it, so that it can make it so the kill can be easy, so the kill can be justified. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, when you hunt something, you don't just go out there and all willy nilly and you without doing your homework. You actually got to study these people, man. You got to study these people and know their strengths and their weaknesses. You got to know what's going to cause them to pretty much allow you to murder them. You feel me?
Right.
They hunt our steps, man. Like just really think of that. They hunt our steps.
Right.
Like, imagine an animal being hunted. Like, we all watch Animal Planet and see how they go out there hunting for certain things, and you see how they set a bear trap or something like that, or they got little whistles that sound just like the animal that they hunting, something that sounds familiar to bring the animal out. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, think about being hunted like that, man. Being stalked by an animal. You understand? Like, this is what they do to us, man. They hunt our steps. Keep going.
That we cannot go in our streets.
That we cannot go in our streets, man. Like, to leave our homes, man, is a dangerous place. When you don't have the protection of the Lord, man. Like, here in Isupk, this is why we harp on keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, man, because the Lord has to be with you in these streets, man. Like, right now, brothers are getting murdered left and right. Just leave your house. You know what I'm saying? Leaving out of our house and going to whatever slavery and coming back home is a dangerous thing for a black man here in this nation, man. Without the protection of the Lord, of course.
Right.
But this is what they do. They hunt our steps that we cannot even go on our streets. Keep going.
Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled. For our end is come.
And this is what it is, man. Our end is near. Like, we go into these streets, man. We go into these streets, man, and it's like, our end is near, man. Like, they will murder us in these streets, cold-blooded. You know why? Because they've hunted us. They've hunted us already. You understand? They've laid the snare. They set the traps already. So as soon as we come out of our home, you understand, all they got to do is play it out. Because they're hunting us, man. And when you hunt, like when you hunt something and you lay out traps for it, everything that you do from that point on seems justified. So here's the thing. We've already seen how they'll sit there and they'll plot against us, and then they start hunting us. So do we think that heroin and cocaine and marijuana being pushed in our communities, do we think that's a coincidence? Do you think that they're doing that because they want to see the drug dealer get rich? No, they laying that snare, man. They set the trap for us.
Right.
Like, do we think that all the Christian churches, like, if you go into any hood right now, I don't care where you at, what city you in, what state you in, if you go into any hood right now, you have about 30, and you go, I would say in a 5-mile radius, you'll have about 15, 20 churches at least, black churches. Easily. Like, sometimes you'll have 2 or 3 of them on the same block. You see what I'm saying? And in these churches is where black people congregate, man. And it's also the same place where black people, we're being told that we ain't got to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. That we should forgive our enemies. We should forgive the so-called white man and love everybody. You understand? Like, in these same places is where we're being psychologically destroyed, man. Children being molested and raped, you understand? Women being taken by the pastor, you understand? Like, these are the things that's going on to the tune of, like, let's say, about 20 churches in a 5-mile radius. I know in Baltimore City, man, like, if you walk 5 minutes and don't see about 4 or 5 churches, something ain't right. You understand? You walk 5 minutes, you're going to see about a good 5 to 10 churches here in Baltimore City in every hood. And guess what? This is part of their plan.
Right.
You understand? Like, this is part of what they do to destroy us, man. This is why this is why the black pastor, he has to go to seminary school. He has to get taught how to push that white supremacy, man, correctly. Understand? But Rocket Yahweh Yahushua, you understand, for the fact that the Most High has set up the Isupk under Commanding General Yohana, man.
Right.
Like, this is the only safe haven that a black, Latino, or Native American come to, man, and actually receive the proper instruction on how to serve the Lord, man.
Right.
Like, this is the only place we can come to.
Damn right.
You know, people get offended at that when we say, man, we the home of the truth, and if it's not under Commanding General Yohana, it's not the truth. Right. People get offended.
Right.
So what?
Right.
You understand?
Right.
We don't care that you get offended.
Right.
You understand? At the end of the day, we about saving the lives of blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. What do it matter that you get offended?
Right.
You understand? You gonna allow an offense? You gonna allow us saying that we the home of the truth to stop you from saving your people, from saving yourself? You understand? Like this is what it comes down to. You have people, you know, and here's the thing. It is what it is. It is what it is. Like, we are sent out here to save our people, man. But if the spirit is, man, they say they the home of the truth, man, we can't get down with them, you feel me? If that's the case, but you see how brothers and sisters are being murdered in the streets, you understand? Like, you have to look at yourself. We all have had to have that conversation with ourselves, man. How selfish do I want to be? How selfish am I really? You understand? Whereas though you have a place, you have an organization, man, that's actually teaching the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. You understand?
Right.
Saving blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. You understand? Like, the sacrifices that these generals and these captains and these officers are making. You understand? And these troopers and assistants. Like, you have an organization that's actually doing the work of the Lord, man.
Right.
And because you don't like what we say or how we say it, you'll turn your back to the Lord. You understand?
Right.
Like, we have to examine ourselves, man, and see how selfish we can be, man. You understand? Because if it meant that my feelings get hurt, but that my brother lived, you feel me? By all means, offend me. You see what I'm saying? Right. Offend me. You see what I'm saying? If it means that my brother can actually live, and my brother and not only he can live, he can actually become a priest of the Lord, man, and he can go out here and be a tool for the Most High, and maybe he can the Most High can use him to bring other brothers and sisters in and save their lives. If that's what is at stake, offend me. Let my feelings get hurt. You see what I'm saying? Like this is what we got. This is what we got to realize, man. We have an enemy out here who don't care about your feelings either. Mm-hmm. And guess what? We pledge our allegiance to him. You think the so-called white man cares about our feelings? You think he cares about what we think and what we feel? Mm-hmm. He do not care. As long as you pledge your allegiance and do what he tell you to do. And of course, we got us who, being Judites. Man, ain't nobody telling me what to do. You feel me? Right. Ain't nobody gonna do boom. You feel me? I do what I want, carry how I want, carry. It sounds tough, and it sounds hard until you get locked up. You see what I'm saying? Right. You get locked up and you sitting in prison. And I mean, you think on the streets brothers are just talking and running their mouth. But now that you in prison and you around brothers who actually took it to that next level, that's why they're in there. You understand? Some of them, because there's a lot of innocent brothers that's in that prison. You understand? But when you go to prison, that warden he shut them cell doors, man. He telling you when you can use the bathroom. He telling you when you can eat, when you can work out. He tells you everything. And guess what? You better do it, or else. You understand? Right. So, let's we got to really think about this, man. We don't want to be told what to do by the Most High, but the same oppressor that's over top of us, because he's smiling in our face, we think we're doing what we want to do, when the whole time we're doing exactly what he's told us to do, man. We have more obedience for our oppressor than the Most High, man. The Most High is just warning us that these people, they hunt your steps, man. Right. Esau hunts our steps that we can't even go in our streets, man. Let me get Zechariah 11:5, Bubba, for sure. Like, being a brother who plays sports, growing up, one thing we used to have to watch film of our opponent. You understand? And we had to find out the strengths and weaknesses, and we had to see how we was going to attack them, how we was going to come at them. We had to see who the star player was, and how we, form defense of how we were going to shut them down and whatnot. You understand? Like, you had to put your time in that film room. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Right now, the Lord has given us the play-by-play on our enemies. Right. The Lord has given us saying, listen, this is how they're going to come at you. This is how they're going to move. This is what they're going to do. This is how they're going to seek to attack you and destroy you. Like, the Lord has given us the play-by-play on our enemies, man. Right. But guess what? We don't think we have enemies. We think our enemy is each other. And this is why we keep getting destroyed, man. You got that?
Come on. Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
That's like a start of verse 4, Bubba, for sure.
Come. Zechariah chapter 11, verse 4. Thus said the Lord, my God, feed the flock of the slaughter.
See, feed the flock of the slaughter. Who's the flock? Like, we're the flock, you understand? Of the slaughter. We're the flock that's being slaughtered, you understand? Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, you understand? When those brothers in Houston went down to Acuna, you understand? Like, they were seeking to slaughter them Haitians, you understand? And we fed the flock of the Lord, man. Keep going.
Whose possessors slay them.
Whose possessors slay them, you understand? Like, our oppressor who possess us right now, because we are still in slavery. Right. He slay us, man. Right. He slays us, like, and it's ridiculous that we don't see it. Like, we see it and still forgive him, but we won't forgive each other for anything, man. Like, right now, he's still has our Issacharite brothers, you understand, taking their children. Like, we have Issacharite children right now still being kidnapped, murdered, raped, you understand, sold into sex slavery right now as we speak, man. The only people that's talking about that in the earth is the Isupk, man. It's a crying shame. Like, our family is being destroyed right before our eyes, man.
Right.
By the same oppressor that we trying to love and we're trying to have respect for, man. Keep going.
And they slap. And they
start at chapter 5 of it, for sure.
come. Zechariah 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
And hold themselves not guilty. You understand? Like, here's the thing. Let's say you know, hypothetically speaking, let's say you killed a man, right? You killed a man and it was unjust. At the very least, having a conscience, you say, you know what? I was wrong. I was wrong, man. I ain't had no reason to do what I did. You understand? Like, you have to understand, like, to murder and to kill is not nothing that it's not natural. You see what I'm saying? To us. Like, brothers won't tell you, but like brothers who commit murders and stuff like that, man, they suffer. They suffer over those things, man.
Right.
You know, it's a lot of it's traumatic. That's why brothers got to get high out their mind and do all these drugs and stuff like that because of the crimes they commit, man. It's not natural to us. But to commit a crime, man, and murder and hold yourself not guilty, this is beyond wicked, man.
Right.
Like, this is beyond wicked. To actually feel confident in the fact that you just killed a man unjustly.
Right.
And you say, listen, I mean, I was in my right. I was in my right. Like George Zimmerman, he felt right for murdering Trayvon Martin in cold blood. You understand?
Nice.
That police officer, Derek Chauvin, he felt himself not guilty, man. He felt he was in the right to murder George Floyd, man. Go ahead.
I mean, that's heavy that you say that, you know, about both of them cats. You know what I'm saying? Like, Zimmerman, if you listen to the tape, Zimmerman said they always get away.
Right.
He say he called us niggas on there too.
Right.
He talking about all niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then what's the officer name that killed
Chauvin.
He knew he killed him and he felt himself not guilty. You could tell he
was proud.
Yeah.
He was proud. Like,
he turned him over when he was dead. He pushed him on the thing like this, like get
right.
his dead tail.
It was like you ever see them go on Animal Planet? They go hunting and they kill a lion or something and they kneel over to take a picture. It was almost one of those poses.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? That police up in New York that killed Eric Garner with the chokehold. How can you, knowing that you murdered a man in cold blood, still try to be a police officer?
Right.
It's because you hold yourself not guilty. You understand?
Right.
These police officers who murdered Freddie Gray here in Baltimore, they hold themselves not guilty. You understand? Go ahead.
If I get one more, you know, even go back in slavery. You know what I mean? The slave master raped, one of the slaves' wives.
Yeah.
And he tried to feel manly enough to just say, man, why you doing that? Not just attack him, some attack him, but some of them just like, I don't like what you did. And what he did, blow his head off. He already got the shotty right, they just blow him off.
Because he hold himself not guilty. You understand? Like that evil devil that lied on Emmett Till. I think she just died a couple years ago.
No
you see what I'm saying? But she died a few years ago. She lived her life.
Right.
She died at her old age, you understand?
Right.
Knowing that she lied on a young boy, man, and had him murdered in cold blood, you understand?
Right.
And you know what? People will find compassion for her. Because she came out and said that she lied. And people will feel sorry for her. She's had to hold that in for so long. She's had to hold that in for so long, Like, are you serious?
Right.
It's because they hold themselves not guilty.
Nice.
And it is not only them that hold themselves not guilty. Their entire nation hold them not guilty. You ever been on the slavery and you hear one of these stories or something that comes out in the public, and you'll hear devil. They don't like that. They try to whisper it, but they for the murder.
Right.
They for the murder. Like, sidebar. Like when the Freddie Gray situation was going on. Like, I wasn't in the UPK yet. Yeah, man. I'm on the construction site. And you had this devil, he say, and he sit there and so cocky too. Well, I'm saying that, his rap sheet was long, you feel me?
Good, man.
I said, what that mean?
Right.
I mean, it wasn't like he was a law-abiding citizen. I said, are you serious? I'm ready to come to blows with him. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because here it is, he had to blow into when he get in his car, he had to blow into one of the alcohol things.
Oh, okay.
Because he was caught drunk driving more than once, more than twice. About 3 times he was caught drunk driving. So he had to blow into a breathalyzer thing to start his car. I said, you're a criminal too.
Oh.
I said, you're a common criminal. I said, you're drinking and driving, you're putting lives of other people at risk, you feel me? I said, you should be killed as well.
Most High in Christ.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I was on the verge of going to blows with him at this point. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, of course, you handle things different, here now that you're being taught in the UPK, but they hold themselves not guilty. When they hear of a black man getting murdered or a sister getting murdered, listen, they for it. They are for it, man. Mm-hmm. You can see it in their face. They feel proud. Like, it's almost like a promotion for a so-called devil to kill one of us in cold blood, man. But let one of them Arabs go there and detonate their self and kill some of them. Oh, they get mad. They get hot then.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But when it comes to the nation of Israel, they hold themselves not guilty, man. Keep going, Brother Bashar.
And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
Yeah, this is what they say. They say, they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord. Like, they actually, like, it's so wicked that they thank the Lord for it. You feel me? For I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not, man.
Good night.
You understand? Like, this is what our oppressor is saying. Man, your own leaders don't love you. Your own leaders don't give a damn about you. Your own leaders don't give a damn about you. Why should I? You see what I'm saying? Your own leaders don't pity you. Why? You think you're going to get pity from me? You understand? Good.
That's a heavy one, right? That's a super heavy one, because everybody, when you talk about your shepherd, you know what I mean? Just like, somebody that watches over you.
Right.
And today's shepherd is good old Reverend Al Sharpton. You know what I mean? When he come through, somebody don't pay him.
Right.
You know what I mean? One of our oppressors don't pay him to go in there and shut everybody up and make everything calm.
Right.
And he pity us not. He all he cares about the money.
Right, and they know that.
Right.
They know that. They say, oh, go get old Al. Sit down there to calm them down. And that's how they talk.
Right.
Al don't give a 2 cents about him.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We know. Sit old Al down. That's how they do it.
Right.
Go ahead.
But I should be the home of the truth, because good old Al tried to come behind us when we went down to Acuna. And, the people, and look, the Lord kicked them out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The Lord sent him back running.
I mean, he was not well received. You understand? By the people. You understand? Like, and that's the spirit of the Lord, man. That's the spirit of the Lord, because though he has black skin, or though he's one of us according to nation, he's not one of us.
Right.
You understand? Like, same as these Christian pastors out here, man, who sell us up a river every chance they get just to fatten their pockets, man. Like, if your own shepherd does not care about you, why should I care about you?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like you gotta really internalize that. If the person that's been appointed to take care of you don't find no value in you, why should I?
Damn.
You see what I'm saying? Like, this is how they feel and how they think, man.
Right.
You're up there. Let me get Ezekiel 35 and 5 up, Kasha. Like, the Lord is laying it out. Like, it's so crazy. The Lord is laying it out step for step for us, man. Showing us who our enemy is. Ezekiel 35 and 5. Showing us who our enemy is and showing us his tactics, man. The Lord is telling us what he's going to do. All we got to do is trust in the Lord, man, and follow and be obedient to the Lord, man. And he has no power over us.
Right. But
because we've been taught that we ain't got to serve the Lord, man, that we can do whatever we want to do and the Lord is going to be cool with it. Because we've been taught that, this is why we stay in the conditions we stay in, man. You got that?
Come.
Ezekiel
chapter 35 verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred.
They say, for thou hast had a perpetual hatred. You understand? Like, perpetual meaning what? Everlasting. You understand? Like, in our minds, the so-called white man don't like us because we're lazy. The so-called white man don't like us because we're violent. The so-called white man don't like us because, what? We don't pull ourselves up by our bootstrap. That's what we think.
Right.
Nah. So-called white man, he's never liked us, you understand?
Right.
And not only has he not liked us, it's one thing not to like a person. You just leave him alone. He's had a perpetual hatred towards us, you understand? An everlasting hatred. Meaning he's hated us from the beginning, and he's always going to hate us, man.
Right.
You understand? Like, we sitting out here thinking that if we act a certain way, if we talk a certain way, if we get a certain type of slavery, that he's going to respect us and he's going to treat us a certain way. Nah. He has a perpetual hatred for us, man. Like, how do you appease someone who's always going to hate you?
Right.
You understand? Like, what do you do? What must you do to side with a man that's going to always hate you? You understand? Like, what do you do? You begin to hate the same people he hates. You begin to do the things that he do, in hope that he's going to accept you as one of his own. But like these scriptures say, it's perpetual, man. It's everlasting. So there's nothing you can do to appease this oppressor.
Right.
You understand? So why keep doing it? Why keep doing it then? You understand? It makes more sense to serve the Lord who created him.
Right.
You understand? Come back to our culture, man. Let's keep these laws, statutes, and commandments so we can rule the earth.
Right.
You understand? Well, go ahead. Let me get the rest of that scripture, Brother Kishore.
And has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity.
Like, this happened in the past, and this is still happening right now. You understand?
Right.
That they have shed the blood of the children of Israel. They've shed the blood of blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity. Like, right now, we are living in hell, man.
Right.
Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, we are literally living in hell, man.
Right.
Like, we are in our calamity, man. And while we're in our calamity, they are murdering us left and right, shedding our blood, man. With the force of the sword, you understand? Like, they will shoot us quickly. Like, that sword is now the gun. Understand? That's why you ain't gotta have a weapon on you to get shot. All you gotta do is be a brother, or a sister, or a child of a brother or sister. You understand?
Good night.
I mean, because I can't say color because they don't shoot African children.
Right.
They don't shoot them dark-skinned East Indian children.
Good night.
They only shoot the children of blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
Right.
Good.
I mean that's heavy that you bringing out because that's absolutely right. But I mean, I don't think I ever heard of a white child at a playground playing with a toy gun and get shot.
Right.
I never heard of that. You know what I'm saying?
Like, listen, they don't even play with toy guns. Like, I mean, they start with pellet guns. You feel me?
Oh yeah, they start with the
they don't start
BB
with
gun.
they don't start with a cap gun.
Right.
They start with something real that can do real damage. You see what I'm saying? Like they work like by the time they full fledged got an AR-15. You see what I'm saying? Like they start with pellet guns and BB guns, something that can actually hit you and do damage to you. You feel me?
Right.
And
that's
you know, their guns don't get took from them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So heavy and true.
Mobutu never gets shot. You understand? Like, Dikembe never gets shot. His children never get shot.
Nope.
You understand? These African children, what? Tell me, if you can name one African child that's been killed, you understand? I'll wait.
Right.
You won't name one.
Right.
You understand? Like, it's not happening over here. They're not killing African children. They're not killing dark-skinned East Indian children. Like, the color of our skin is not what it is. Like, it's who we are, man.
Right.
You understand? Like I said, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred against us, man, and shed the blood of the children of Israel, not the children of Ham,
right?
Not the children of Elam,
good night,
but the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, man. Like, this is what they do, man. Keep going real quick. Public show.
In the time that their iniquity had an end.
The time that their iniquity, meaning our sin, had an end. You understand? Like we have to realize, man, that this oppressor that we're under, man, like, he hates us to the point where as though he'll beguile us by giving us every wicked thing that we desire. You understand? With the intention that he's going to later have a good reason to destroy us, man. And here's the thing. At this point, he don't even need a reason. The fact that we're Israel is good enough. You understand? But we make it, when we don't keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, and we don't have the protection of the Lord, we're fair game to him, man. We're fair game to him. That's why he don't kill the children of other nations. This is why he don't kill the fathers of other nations. Now, you can literally have a Arab, a Ishmaelite, who is a known terrorist, who will go out here and use a van and run people over.
Good night.
He just showed you not only that he wanted to kill, that he was willing to do it. He just did it.
Right.
And you'll see him with a towel over his head with his hands behind his back getting walked away. You know what I mean?
Probably took him to Burger King or something.
Yeah, the fact is he lived.
Right.
You can have a brother who's mentally ill that's saying some crazy stuff out of his mouth, and you can clearly, you ain't got to be a professional if this brother's mentally ill, and he will lose his life, man.
Right.
He will lose his life. That devil that shot up in was it Waco, Texas? We shot up the Walmart, shot all them Isupk brothers and sisters. You understand? He just showed you what he was about. He pulled his gun out and was killing people. And guess what? He went into custody, man, to fight the trials. Like, this is what happens, man. If we still think that we equal and that we're not oppressed, man, we're sadly mistaken. You understand? Let me get verse 6, Brother Kashaw.
Ezekiel 35, verse 6. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord thy power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee.
It is. The Lord say, as I live, I will prepare thee unto blood, man, and blood shall pursue thee. You understand? The Lord is going to get his revenge on him, man. The same way that we run, and our blood is pursuing us right now, we can't even go into our streets without being murdered. You understand?
Right.
This so-called devil, man, he's going to have all that and more to pay. You understand? The Lord just said, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. You understand? Like, this is heavy. This oppressor is going to have to pay, man, but before we get to that point, we have to make a change, man.
Right.
We've got to make that decision to come back and serve the Lord and keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. Like, this is our power, man.
Right.
Our power is not going to the oppressor. and begging him, please, please, pretty please, don't kill me. Please, please, don't hurt me. Look at me as an equal. Begging at the foot of his table like a common dog or animal, you understand?
Right.
That's not what we should be doing. But we should be returning back to our power, man. The Most High himself. You know what I mean? Who has power over all. Like, this is who we should be returning to, man. And keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments so we can have the protection of the Lord, man.
Right.
That's what we should be doing in this earth right now. If I could drop that, let me get 1 Peter 5 and 1 Peter 5 and 8, Bubba, for sure.
First Peter chapter 5 verse 8. Be sober. Be vigilant.
They say be sober, be vigilant, you understand? Like, being sober means be clear, be clear headed, you understand? Like, be clear headed. Don't be consumed with all this nonsense, you understand? Like, be vigilant. Like, be aware, see what's going on around you, you understand? Keep going.
Because your adversary, the devil.
Your adversary, the devil. We already defined devil. Devil means deceiver. You understand? Because your adversary, the deceiver, the so-called white man, the oppressor, you understand? The devil that the Bible speaks of.
Right.
Keep going.
As a roaring lion, walking about, seeking whom he may devour.
Yeah, listen, this is so heavy, man.
Right.
This is so heavy because we look at him as being docile. We look at him as being, nice and pleasant and equal and fair. He wears a suit, he has his glasses on, he don't look violent, you understand? The Lord say he walks as a roaring lion,
Right.
seeking whom he may devour. Like, I like to paint the picture, you see what I'm saying? Because sometimes I feel like we read stuff, but we don't really grasp what we're reading. You understand?
Right.
Like, imagine you being in the Serengeti. Imagine you being in the Serengeti. You ain't on them little vehicles riding through.
Right.
You walking through the Serengeti. You understand? And you see a lion. As a brother, you see a lion from afar. You on point now. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You try and get little. They, football. They say get skinny. You get skinny so you don't be seen. You see what I'm saying? But you want to be watching him because he's a lion. Right. A lion. You understand? Now you may have a lion just walking around minding his business, right?
Mm-hmm.
He may just see you and keep going. He ain't got no interest in you.
Right.
All right, cool, but I'm still watching him. He's a lion. You feel me?
Right.
This was a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. You understand?
Right.
So we got a lion, and he's roaring like he's in his glory.
Right.
He's in his power right now. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And he's seeking who he's going to destroy. It means he's looking. He's casing the place. You understand? He looking and saying, okay, this look like my next victim. This look like my next meal. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine that. Imagine being in that situation.
Mm.
Are you going to be on point?
Super on point.
You have to be.
Right.
Your life depends on it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
The Lord is telling us this is how we should be looking at this oppressor of ours, man.
Dang.
Like, this is the same way we should be viewing him. Because he's walking around as a roaring lion seeking who he may devour, man. You know what I mean? It looked like he peaceful. It looked like he can't hurt us. But every brother that gets killed in the hood is because of him.
Mm.
Every sister that aborts a baby is because of him. You understand? Every wrong thing in our community is because of him, man.
Good. Right.
Because he's that roaring lion and he's seeking whom he's going to devour. And guess what? His eyes are set on the nation of Israel. Because he's had a perpetual hatred against us, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you being in that jungle and realizing that lion only like Israelite blood, you understand? I mean, he could see you got Mfiki over here on a pogo stick with rings through his nose and everything. You feel me?
Right.
You got him over here. You got the East Indian over here. You got the Asian. You got the Arab. You got all these people in the Serengeti. And that line, he done locked on you. You everywhere you move, he watching you. Everywhere you go, you see him. I mean, you gonna start feeling like a victim.
Right.
You gonna start feeling like, listen, in order for me to defeat this lion, I need a power that's stronger than him. You know what I mean? Right. I can't have a power that's equal to him, because he wants to destroy me.
Right.
So if he wants to destroy me having somebody that's equal to him ain't gonna solve my situation.
Right.
I mean, I need a power that's stronger than him, that's more powerful than him, that's going to take him out. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's how we need to be with the Lord, man.
Right.
The Most High is that power that we should be serving. I mean, you understand? Like, outside of that, like, the so-called white man runs this earth, man.
Good night.
I mean, you know, you got brothers who feel like, you know, they got guns and, you know, man, when all this stuff pop off and these race wars pop off, man, I'm gonna go, I got, it's a little building up here, I'm gonna go, man, we gonna be good. You feel? No, you're not.
Right.
No, you're not.
Right.
You understand? Like, you don't have, you like, we look at the so-called white man, and it's like we don't realize that he has an entire military. They have bombs that can devastate an entire nation. You understand? What is your bullet going to do?
Right.
What is your bullet going to do to an atomic bomb? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
What is your bullet going to do to a bomb that they can you know, detonate 50 miles above ground? You feel me? It kills everything living underneath of it, but it keeps the structure intact. You understand? What is your bullet going to do to that?
No.
You understand? It's absolutely nothing.
No.
So we need a power. We need to serve a power that's greater than that. That's the Most High, man.
Right.
And we serve him by keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, man.
Right.
This is what we got to do in this earth. You understand? Like, we've been lied to, and we've been beguiled by, you know, Satan and, you know, these black Christian pastors and stuff like that. Understand? But right now, the Most High sent his priests and prophets into this earth, man.
Right.
To wake our people up. Like, it's not good enough just to hear us at this point. I mean, don't be just a hearer, be a doer. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you hearing these classes, man, if you hearing us on the streets, I mean, the Lord is calling you. I mean, answer that call.
Right.
While you still can. While we still can. You feel me? You know, because right now, like, we ain't saved. Like, the Christian church say you're saved once you believe in Jesus. No, you're not. You understand? It's he that endureth until the end shall be saved. You understand?
God.
Like, we still working. We still fighting. Like, it's work to be done, man. Like I say, the harvest is plenty and the laborers are few. It's work to be done, man.
Right.
And when the Lord come back, let him catch you working. Let him catch us working, man. Like, that's what has to happen.
Right.
Go ahead.
And that's heavy what you bringing out. You know what I'm saying? We gotta keep this work. That's not to say, like everybody else, you know, trying to ride off our tailback. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're not gonna succeed. You know, I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we're protected by the Lord. You know
right.
what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like the Black Panthers, they want to come down, they will try to do what we do. I wouldn't try to do what we do because the Lord is not with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In order for the Lord to be with you, you have to come up into this one body. You know what I'm saying? That's the eye should be kept. I mean,
right.
in your eyes.
That's the narrow path, you feel me?
Right.
That narrow path that it's speaking of in the scriptures, that's what it's talking about, man.
Right.
If I could, let me get Psalms 50 and 15, Bubba, for sure. I mean, we got to realize too, like we read the scripture earlier that we watching for a nation to save us, man. You know, that cannot save us. You understand? Like, we go through things and we see what's going on in this earth, But instead of us going to our power and asking, Psalms 50 and 15.
Yeah.
Instead of us going to our power and asking our power to deliver us and to save us, man, we go to the same person that put us in this place, man. Like, let me get the scripture first, then we'll get into it. You got that?
Come on.
Go ahead.
Psalms chapter 50, verse 15. And call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me.
It is the Most High said, call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. You understand?
Right.
This is so heavy, man.
Right.
Because we don't call on the Lord for anything.
Right.
Like, when something bad happens, that's when we want to pray and we want to call on the Lord then, you understand?
Right.
Like, we should be calling on the Lord right now. Understand? But instead, we go to our oppressor and seek change. Like, we go to, like, by voting is us going to our oppressor instead of the Most High. You understand? By us, doing anything outside of keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, man, is us pretty much begging the oppressor to save us instead of asking the Most High.
Right.
And this is so heavy, man. And it's so heavy because if you had a child, when you have a child and your child rebels against you, your child starts behaving and acting a certain way in which you did not teach them, when they get in the jam, you feel me? They go to other people and ask other people their opinion.
Right.
They ask other people advice. They ask other people how to save them and deliver them from whatever trouble they're in.
Right.
As a parent, you just sit by and you say, wow. You see what I'm saying? I ain't going to help them because not only did they not ask me, but they felt like these other people had their best interest at heart. When I'm the one who has their best interest at heart, you understand?
Right.
Now equate that to the Most High. We will go to the oppressor and ask his help, man, and ask him to save us and help us and fix us. But we won't go to the Most High.
Dang.
You understand?
That's heavy.
Like, imagine, like, we always talk about feeling and how we feel, and my feelings were hurt and all this nonsense. You feel me? As a parent, you know how that feels to see your child out there seeking the advice of others instead of you. How do you make the Most High feel when you do the same thing to him? You understand?
Right.
Like, this is how we got to start thinking, man. We should be going to the Most High for all of our help, man.
Right.
Man, when you keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, you go to your father. Hey, Dad, like you following all your father's instructions in the house, man. When you go through something, you say, Dad, I'm going through something right now. I got this going on. Boom, boom, boom. Your father can advise you. Your father has your best interest at heart. He's going to tell you exactly what you need to do to get out of that situation. You understand? But the problem is, when we not doing what we supposed to do, when we not following the directions of our father in that house, we don't even feel comfortable going before him for help because we know we wrong. You understand?
Right.
And I understand that. But guess what? At the end of the day, you got to start somewhere.
Right.
You understand? You got to start somewhere. Ain't none of us, not sinned in our life. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So at the end of the day, it don't matter what you've done. It don't matter what you've, how disgusting we've been. We have to make that decision to come back to the Lord, man. You understand? We have to make that decision to come and serve the Lord, man. Keep these laws, statutes, and commandments and do what we were told to do, man. So we can be the people we were supposed to be.
Right.
And this is so heavy, man. We have to call upon the Lord in our day of trouble, man.
Right.
Let me get 2 Samuel 22 and 4 above the show. Like, these scriptures are so heavy, man, and it's like it comes to life. Like, these scriptures, like, to me, they're jumping off the page at this point.
Right. Oh man.
It feels like because we're living the scriptures.
Right.
Like the priests of old, the prophets of old, they've always wanted to live in these times, man. They like it's ways though, like they would always ask, man, when are you gonna come back? You see what I'm saying? Like we living in those days, man. These scriptures are jumping off the page. You see what I'm saying? You got that?
Come.
Do it.
2 Samuel, verse 22, verse 4. Chapter 22, verse 4, Salaki. I will call the Lord, who is worthy to be praised.
That's how I would call on the Lord, who is worthy to be praised. You understand? Like that's one of those things. Like for us to feel like the Most High is not worthy to even be called on, it's ridiculous, man. Like the Most High should absolutely be called on. Like, is he not worthy?
Good night.
Like, is that the reason we don't call on the Lord, man? Because we feel like he ain't worthy of hearing our issues? I mean, some of us have this attitude, man. Some of us actually have this attitude, man. He ain't gonna do nothing. Man, I don't pray to the Lord. I don't even believe in God, man, because he ain't gonna do nothing. Man, I went through X, Y, and Z. You feel me? He ain't saved me from that. What was saying, man? I would call on the Lord, who is worthy to be praised. You understand? No matter what you went through, you just know the Lord is worthy to be praised, man. Keep going.
So shall I be saved from my enemies.
So shall I be saved from my enemies. You understand? So shall I be saved from my enemies, man. Like, this is the only way we're going to be saved. Like, calling upon the Lord, man, and doing as our Father has instructed us is the only way we can actually be saved from what we're going through, man.
Right.
Like we done read so many scriptures where we can't be redeemed by another nation. Another nation is not going to save us or speak up on our behalf.
Right.
You understand? We have to understand, man, we serve a power that's greater than anything on the face of this earth, anything that's greater than anything in this universe. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the Most High God, man. And we have to come back to serve him. Because outside of that, we're going to stay in this condition, man, which is hell.
Right.
You know what I mean? We don't have to die. And you know how Christians teach that you gotta, it's a red fiery pit, and you got a man with a pitchfork.
Right.
Listen, we ain't got to die to see the devil.
Right.
I think that's a song. I ain't had to die to see the devil. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We amongst them every day of the earth, every day we live, man.
Right.
Like we are in hell.
Right.
Like we are in hell right now and don't know it. That's the crazy part.
Right.
We just look at this as like, man, this is supposed to be my life. No, it's not. For every black, Latino, Native American, this is not our life, man. This is not the life we should be living. We should be living a life in total obedience to the Most High God, man, keeping his law, statutes, and commandments. And that's the only way we're going to come up out of this hell, man, and get from under this oppressor who has a perpetual, everlasting hatred for us, man.
Good night.
And with that, I just want to say shalom, Bmore. You understand? We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, coming straight out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. You understand? That's so important if you're watching these videos, you understand? Because if it's not under Commanding General Yohana, it is not the truth, man.
Right.
This is the home of the truth, man. And since 1969, we've been bringing it out that blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are the true biblical Jews of the Bible, and the so-called white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, straight up and down. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
No cutting, no cards about it, man. He's the biggest deceiver on the face of this earth, man.
Right.
And we are not affiliated with no Hebrew Israelite camps. Like, a lot of people think that we're affiliated with people, you feel me? Like, are y'all them Israelites from that? No, we're not. You understand? No, we're not. We're not affiliated with the Christian church. We're not affiliated with the Muslim mosque. We're not affiliated with the conscious community. We're not affiliated with none of those entities, you understand?
Right.
We stand alone in bringing out the truth, man. And with that, I want to say shalom, and we're going to bring up priest and officer of 1,000, not to all for reading the security announcements. Shalom. Peaceful. Yeah, come on, all the way to the back.
Shalom. We are We are the Isupk coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to the brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which a brother or sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, Malachi chapter 3, 8 through 10, which means 10th in Hebrew, and is pronounced ma'ashara, 10% of every penny of any increase of the Lord gives you give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest funds, free offering to the priest. It's not mandatory whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy events, we got Hanukkah, that is in November.
Yeah.
Salaki. And it's in November. Check your school for further details, or check on the internet for further details. Remind every Akim and Wathium to check on social media such as Isupk, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and so on for Isupk events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headbands, or scarf. And with that, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Amenez Amaya. My Shabbat, Mani, Barak, Yahaba Shem Yahshua Barak Da.
Yahba Shem Yahshua Barak Da.
Yahimata, class dismissed.
Any man give his life for Yahweh Shah Mashiach Christ, and for the money that you became bound. It's my brother and my blood, and I will die and kill for if necessary.
Take
My soldiers take breath till it stand up. Take breath. My soldiers take breath till it stand